In our previous video, we explored the Vatican Museum and the Sistine Chapel in the morning, followed by lunch. After a good long break, we lined up to enter St. Peter's Basilica. You can find the link to the earlier video in the description. We are now standing in St. Peter's Square, and the stunning basilica was before us. In front of the basilica is St. Peter's Square, which was built between 1656 and 1667. In the center of the square stands an obelisk erected in 1586, known as the Witness, because it was thought to have witnessed the crucifixion of St. Peter. The square is shaped like a massive embrace with two colossal colonnades. The deliberate elliptical design draws visitors into the arms of the church and symbolizes a universal embrace. There are two granite fountains in the square. One was designed by Carlo Maderno in 1613, and the other by Bernini in 1675. There are 140 statues on top of the colonnades depicting saints and martyrs, which were commissioned by Pope Alexander VII and created by Lorenzo Morelli. The line to enter St. Peter's Basilica was quite long, but it kept moving. After passing through the security checks, we turned around to admire the view of the square from the basilica. As you walk along the corridor, the first door we encounter is a glittering golden door, known as the Holy Door. In 1949, a competition was held to select a replacement for the old wooden door, and Vico Consorti won the competition with his golden Holy Door. The Holy Door is only open during Jubilee years, which occur every 25 years. Pilgrims passing through this door symbolize their entry into the presence of God and their journey to salvation. St. Peter's Basilica has 5 main doors, each with its significance. All of them were built in the 20th century, except the Filarete door, which was constructed in 1445. If you are visiting the dome, it's best to go right after you enter the basilica because the queue could be long and slow-moving. There are 2 types of tickets, taking the stairs or the elevator. Just behind the ticket booth, you will find the equestrian statue of Charlemagne. This stunning statue was commissioned by Pope Clement XI in 1725 and carved by Carnacki. Emperor Charlemagne holds the distinction of being the first emperor to be crowned in St. Peter's on the memorable Christmas Eve of 800 AD. After collecting the tickets, we walk through the door of death to the elevator. This door, located at the leftmost, is traditionally used for the exit of funeral processions. By choosing the elevator service, we bypass the 231 steps to the roof of the basilica. Upon reaching the roof of the basilica, we were treated to the majestic sight of the statues on the roof of the basilica and the dome's exterior. There are 13 statues on the facade of St. Peter's Basilica. They were built between 1612 and 1614. Christ is positioned at the center and is flanked by 11 of his 12 apostles. St. Peter's statue is at the piazza itself and is replaced here with John the Baptist. From the basilica's roof, we can see the entire dome, which is adorned with 16 windows and has a lantern at the top. While the dome was designed by Michelangelo, the lantern was added by Giacomo when he took over the construction after Michelangelo's death. On the rooftop, you will find a small indoor cafe, souvenirs shop and restrooms. The walkway runs around the base of the dome, and we can walk around it. From this vantage point, we can observe the dome up close. The artworks consist of numerous small mosaics in various colors, with a backdrop of gold leaves that create a mesmerizing shimmer. The dome is divided into 16 sections, aligning with the windows. It is further subdivided into 6 layers that depicts the angels and saints ascending towards heaven, which is symbolized by the golden stars surrounding the cupola. There are 2 inscriptions on the interior of the dome. The first one is at the base of the lantern. It means, "To the glory of Saint Peter, Pope Sixtus V, in the year 1590, the 5th of his pontificate." The second inscription is at the base of the dome, below the windows. It means, "You are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and to you I will give the keys of the kingdom of God." These are texts from the Gospel of Matthew. There are 331 steps from the base of the dome to the lantern. The climb is rather steep and may not be suitable for those with mobility issues. However, the breathtaking view from the top is worth it. From there, you can see St. Peter's Square, the Vatican Museum, and the Sistine Chapel. On the left, we can see the Vatican Gardens. The gardens occupies approximately half of the Vatican City. After taking in the breathtaking scenery, we made our way back to St. Peter's Basilica. Our first stop was to admire the Pieta, one of the most iconic artwork in St. Peter's Basilica. It was created between 1498 to 1499 by Michelangelo. According to the story, Michelangelo, although not well known at the time, was extremely talented. His works could easily be mistaken for masterpieces from classical Rome. At a friend's suggestion, he buried a sleeping Cupid statue in Rome to make it look like an antique, and it was sold to Cardinal Riario. Michelangelo eventually confessed to the deception and, at Riario's request, had to sculpt a statue of drunken Bacchus. This statue later came into the possession of Jacopo Galli, friend of French Cardinal Lagrellas. Impressed by Michelangelo's talent, Lagrellas commissioned him to create a monument with the theme of Pieta for his tomb in a chapel beside the old St. Peter. The Pieta was eventually moved to the new St. Peter when the old buildings were demolished. Pieta means pity in Italian. While there are numerous portrayals of the Virgin Mary carrying Jesus, none was able to create the balance, beauty, and emotional depth as the Pieta. The exquisite balance of Jesus's body over Mary's lap is captivating. It showcased Michelangelo's remarkable skill in depicting a full-grown man resting gracefully on a beautiful and petite lady. There are some interesting facts that I would like to point out. The Pieta is the only artwork signed by Michelangelo. It was said he overheard viewers misidentified the work as being that of another artist. An upset Michelangelo hid in the chapel, and he carved his name on the Pieta after everyone has left. Michelangelo may have signed Pieta twice, as restorers discovered an initial M engraved on Virgin Mary's left palm during a repair in 1964. It was cleverly hid into the lines of Mary's palm, so it was hard to spot. The Pieta has been damaged twice. In 1736, 4 fingers on Mary's left hand were broken and restored back. In May 1972, a deranged man damaged the Pieta with a hammer. He managed to strike the Pieta around 15 times before being stopped. The damages were extensive, and the restoration took 10 months to complete. After repair work was completed, the Vatican had the marble statue encased in a bulletproof glass. The St. Peter's altar, also known as the Papal altar, is covered by the baldachin, a large bronze canopy designed by Lorenzo Bernini. The baldachin stands approximately 29 meters tall and is supported by 4 twisted columns brought from Jerusalem. It was completed in 1634. Beneath the high altar of St. Peter's Basilica lies the burial place of St. Peter. This revered site is positioned directly under the iconic dome of the basilica. The significance of this arrangement is reflected in the inscription that reads, "You are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and to you I will give the keys of the kingdom of God." This connection underscores the altar's profound religious importance and makes it a focal point for significant religious events and celebrations. The tomb of Pope John Paul II was originally located in the Grottoes. In May 2011, the tomb was moved under the altar of Saint Sebastian after being declared blessed. It is currently situated in the second chapel on the right from the entrance. Pope Innocent XI was known for his exemplary austerity and frugality, qualities that he brought to the papacy. He initially focused on reducing the expenses of the Curia. Not only did he refrain from practicing nepotism, but he also passed ordinances to encourage the cardinals to follow his lead. After his death at the age of 78, he was buried under the altar of San Sebastiano. The statue of St. Peter is one of the most revered sculptures in the Vatican. St. Peter is depicted seated on a marble throne, dressed in papal robes. In his left hand, he holds the symbolic keys to heaven, representing the authority bestowed upon him by Jesus, while his right hand is raised in a gesture of blessing. Notably, the statue's right foot is slightly extended forward, and over countless centuries, millions of pilgrims have reverently touched this foot, resulting in a worn and smooth appearance. As we walked, we found ourselves almost directly below the dome, offering an entire view of its interior design. The chair of St. Peter, also known as the throne of St. Peter, is a relic in the Basilica. Made of wood, it was designed to symbolize papal authority and the historical succession from St. Peter to the current pope. The chair is surrounded by the statues of the 4 early doctors of the church. It is enclosed in a bronze casing designed by Bernini and constructed between 1647 and 1653. Behind the St. Andrew statue, you can find the entrance to the Vatican Grottoes. The Grottoes are not to be mistaken with the Vatican necropolis, which is an ancient burial ground that dates back to Roman times and lies at a lower level beneath the Grottoes. The Grottoes, located just under the Basilica, are a system of vaults built between 1590 and 1591 to support the church's floor. It's also a complex of papal tombs, ancient artworks, and relics preserved over centuries. In addition to the tombs of popes, it's the final resting place of church dignitaries, monarchs, and other significant individuals from Rome's history. Upon leaving the Grottoes, we encountered individuals gathering water from a basin. The inscription on the basin reads, "I saw water flowing from the right side of the temple." This particular basin resembles the traditional drinking fountains, known as nasoni, which are scattered all over Rome. However, what makes this basin unique is its location within the holy grounds, giving it a special sense of sanctity. Having witnessed the magnificence of St. Peter's Basilica, one might wonder why it stands as such a powerful symbol of the Catholic Church's enduring legacy. To truly understand this, we need to delve into history. The original St. Peter's Basilica was constructed by Rome's first Christian emperor, Constantine the Great. It was completed around 360 AD. It was built on the site of the Circus of Nero, where sports and chariot racing events were held during Emperor Nero's reign, from 54 to 68 AD. At the center of the circus stood an Egyptian obelisk. Some 1,500 years later, the obelisk was moved to the center of St. Peter's Square in 1586. In 64 AD, Emperor Nero blamed the Great Fire of Rome on the Christians, leading to the crucifixion and execution of St. Peter at the Circus of Nero and his burial in the nearby Vatican necropolis. St. Peter is the leader of Jesus Christ's 12 apostles and the first pope of the Catholic Church, hence his tomb is of great significance to the Catholics. The location of his burial became a place of veneration, and a small shrine was built over his grave. About 300 years later, the old St. Peter's Basilica was built on top of the tomb. Over time, however, the structural integrity of old St. Peter's Basilica began to deteriorate. By the 15th century, the old St. Peter's Basilica was in a state of disrepair, prompting Pope Julius II to commission the construction of the current St. Peter's Basilica. The construction of new basilica began in April 1506 and was completed in November 1626. It was designed by Bramante, Michelangelo, Giacomo, and Maderno, with the piazza and fittings by Bernini. The basilica is designed in the shape of a Latin cross. The Latin cross plan is a common layout for many Christian churches, symbolizing the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. The design of the dome underwent several changes, from Bramante in 1506 to San Gallo in 1513. Finally, the design by Michelangelo in 1547 was chosen. However, Michelangelo died in 1564 before the construction of the dome. Giacomo della Porta took over the project and did some modification to the dome and added a lantern at the top of the dome. When the dome was completed in 1590, it immediately became the most prominent part of Rome's skyline. This is our last video in Rome. We'll be traveling to Florence tomorrow. If you enjoyed our video, please remember to subscribe, and you'll be notified of our new video when it is out. In the meantime, you can check out our other videos in Rome.